Hello, I'm Pammy Joe. My name is Pam Afflebeck. I go by Pammy Joe because that's God's name for me. It's the name for my soul, an eternal being. And I want you to see my shirt. It says, Obey Yah. I know that is backwards for you, but I want to tell you who Yah is. Yah is not some raw Egyptian god. Yah is not some ogre. Yah is Yahweh, the creator God, the Most High God. He has many names, but start with the one. He has a name, Yahshua, for God's salvation, or God is salvation, but there are many more. I want you to know something about Yah's nature, then something about human nature. Then I'd like to get your help. Yah's nature is all-knowing and all-seeing, and time is different when you're eternal and when you created a system, because Yah can see into the future and see into the past. And like someone weaving a great, huge Afghan or making a huge factory can see all the pieces the way they'll fit together, like an engineer or a draftsman could, only doesn't have to take time to draw them to see them. They appear in front of him. So you're part of that tapestry, and he can see what you've been through, what you're going to go through, and what you really, truly desire. And that is the most important part of Yahweh for you to understand, is how much he understands you. And secondly, how much he desires you to know him, and how much he desires for you to meet the desires of your heart. If you believed those things, everything would fall into place and you would draw to you what you need to fulfill the desires of your heart. But because victimhood, difficulty, oppression, starvation, and many other physical things have happened, and mental things and emotional things that have dulled your soul, because of that, it's hard to grasp or believe that someone who could make and see everything with no time constraints could love you and care for you and want you to be fulfilled. But if you can grasp that, even if you don't understand it, what I mean by grasp is there's a thread in front of you. Pick it up and hold on and wrap it around your finger, your piece of that tapestry that's made only for you, because the tapestry will make itself around you, but you need to grab onto it mentally, emotionally, and with your heart and with your soul. Now, I'm going to tell you a testimony for me, this soul, who is a spokesperson, an emissary for God. I am no different than you. All of you are, but you don't necessarily grasp it yet. Understand it. Two meanings, of course, because God is God. You can have several meanings for the same word or concept, and then spread that out to illustrate it in different ways. And that also brings me to a future topic of the compartments of God's heart. There are many. That's why he has so many names. It's because at a given point in your time, you relate to this, but not those. Later, you relate to that, and that's what you need to understand. This is at peace right now. You don't need it. You need that compartment of God's heart to relate to you. So, at any point in time or ever, you do not need to compare your journey or your place with someone else's, or even with your past or future. You don't need to compare those. You can visualize something else you want that'll draw you to those compartments and draw them to you. But you don't need to be hard on yourself, because the biggest flaw in human nature, and we're getting to nature here, is being hard on yourself. It's different than morality and choice about actions. It's when you know there's something that you should be doing and you want to be doing, you're afraid to do it. Something's being hard on you. Something you've learned, something from outside you, something someone said that's got locked in your brain or your heart is keeping you from righteousness. And righteousness is just right with God. So why be right with God? Because you were made by God, and because it's what you desire. It's not a judgment of every little thought and every little feeling you have. Those will be dealt with voluntarily by you if they need to change. That's what God wants. God wants you to choose righteousness and become it because of your choice. You have free will. You can choose fear, hopelessness, the same situation you're in now with no hope, not even entertain another situation, or you can accept help attaining your heart's desire. God prefers you attain your heart's desire. So I've talked about God's nature somewhat. I haven't talked about which compartments are what or defined them, but they're there. We need to talk about human nature. God's assigned me to help him. And I know when he assigns me, he's assigning everyone. It's not just me. I'm just a little bitty funnel, and it goes whoosh from here. Okay. Whoosh from here to you. You help. You're part of it. He's assigning us the responsibility to tell him what needs to change in human nature so that we're not separated from God. And I think one thing that needs to change is our attraction to fear and distrust, which is what happened in Eden. We were afraid to ask God if something was okay or not. We just believed that we could take that chance. And asking when you're not sure, or waiting when something doesn't feel right, that's a way to overcome that. So again, trust rather than fear, and hope rather than fear, and ask for help. I've talked about this before, but I'm saying we can redefine human nature and bring hope to the earth. And one of the ways that came to me today was our diet and our medications aren't terribly healthy. Therefore, we are impeded by our mental fog and our health issues that could be cured with the correct, proper diet, which is healthy. I won't go into all that, but some movements are starting on Earth now to introduce us to a healthy human diet, more similar to what it was in Eden and after. So there are a lot of steps to helping heal your soul, and your body is one of them, but the body will come along if the soul believes. And I think that's enough for today. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching. And as always, I love you.